The shoe feels like, to me, it's collapsing in the middle and it's taking the momentum out of the ride. But when you start hitting here and you don't utilize that flex point, you can actually feel the shoe. So in today's shoe comparison, we have got the Hoka Mach 6 up against the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4. So we're going to go through their similarities, their differences, and their key features, and hopefully from that, that's going to give you guys a great indication of choosing the right shoe for you. But before we get into it, a massive shout out to my #1 running store, the Running Company at Geelong. I've got a link to their website in the description. Make sure you go check out that and check out all their running gear. And again, if you do want to support this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Right, and checking out our quick specs here, now we've got some really evenly matched specs there, as you can see. That is except for the price. So fair difference here in the price, but I do think both these shoes are overpriced, to be quite honest, especially here in Australia. $290 and $260. I both think they can come down at least $20 each, but I think that extra price difference between these two is warranted, definitely in the Saucony, where you've got some super foam there, some PEBA based foam, and you've got a plate. So it's certainly got some more performance features in this shoe than what you have in this shoe, so that's probably justifies the price difference. But yep, definitely need to both come down in price. Now, pretty evenly matched stacks here, and also in the weight, there's nothing between them. 3mm difference in the drop. Can you really feel that on the foot? Not really. So in your uppers here, so in the Mach 6, so what they use is a Creel Jacquard mesh. So it's a bit of a double layer mesh. They've got an outer plasticky type layer and underneath like a traditional type mesh. But it's very effective, very light, very breathable. We've got a very structured heel counter in the back, and we've got a generous amount of padding around the heel collar here. So that is really nice. A nice mesh tongue, very thin. There's no padding on the tongue. The tongue is gusseted. Now lockdown wise, this shoe is excellent lockdown. No issues. Lacing system standard, no issues with the lacing system. Now the fit in this shoe is narrow, but in the length wise, it's true to size. This shoe is available in an extra wide size. So if you've got a wide foot, go for that one. If you don't have the extra width available in your area, you can half size up just like I did. Right, and in the Speed 4, so we've got a engineered mesh upper. So it's a little bit more simple design than what's going on here. However, very, very effective, very breathable. Again, we've got a solid heel counter, just like the Mach, but less padding around the heel collar. I'd probably say a medium amount of padding. We've got some padding on the tongue though, that the Mach doesn't have. Tongue is again highlight of this shoe, meshed pretty much all the way up, it just adding to that breathability. We've got a gusseted tongue as well, just does a great job. Now lacing system again, pretty standard here by Saucony, no issues with it, but these laces are quite stretchy though, they're probably a little bit long. Now lockdown in this shoe, again, no issues at all, excellent, and fit. True to size in the length, however, again, Saucony, this is a bit of a narrow shoe. It's not as narrow as the Mach, but for me, it was a little bit too narrow for me, so I did go half a size up and it was fine to me. Now this toe box actually has more volume than what it does in the Mach. So this one's, yeah, very tight, squishy, very tight fit, but this one, yeah, certainly more volume, but it's still on the narrow side. So no issues in the comfort department of both these shoes, and build quality, excellent. And in our outsole, so with the Mach 6, so they have got their Dura Abrasion rubber is what they're calling it now, but we've actually got some rubber coverage now on the Mach series. They used to just have rubberized EVA, but as you can see, there's a fair bit of rubber on the bottom of this shoe, but it's a nice soft compound. It takes nothing away from the ride, which is really, really nice. It's wearing down as expected as a nice soft rubber compound. Like it's not really hard. It's not adding slappiness to the ride. But yeah, quite nice. It's obviously good in the dry. It's okay on a gravel road. It's a little bit slippery in the wet, but not as bad as certainly this shoe. Now, what I will mention the outsole of this shoe is certainly this big cutout or this groove or this crevice that they've cut right through the middle of the bottom of the shoe there. Now that's really nice. It lets this midsole splay when you impact the road, so it's giving you a little bit of cushion. It's adding a little bit of stability as well, and obviously it gives you a little bit of pop as your foot rolls through the foot strike. So quite like what they've got going on here in the outsole of the Mach. Now in our Speed 4, so XT900 rubber. That's the rubber that they used in their previous versions. Now, Saucony have had an issue with their rubber being a bit too slippery in the wet conditions, so they've changed the design up. They've now got a lattice design, but they've got a fair amount of rubber coverage still with this XT900. Has the lattice design fixed the grip issue in the wet? Well, it has a little bit, but it's still not the best. So it's still a bit ice skatey, so it certainly still needs improvement. I think they just need a new rubber compound in general, but yeah, it just doesn't do the job. But however, this rubber compound is certainly very durable, does a great job here. Also on the Speed, what you can see there, you can just see that white stuff is just their exposed foam, and you can see that little window there, that is their winged nylon plate through the bottom. So in our midsoles here, so very simple design here in the Mach 6, so just one big slab of their supercritical foam. So there is no plate in the shoe, no carbon plate, no nylon plate. However, rigidity wise, this shoe is a very stiff shoe for something that doesn't have a plate in it. So that's quite surprising in this shoe. I expected this shoe to be quite flexible, just like the Rebel, but it's not. Geometry wise, it's got the Hoka early stage meta rocker. That's just a very slight rocker that starts quite back in the shoe. It feels a little bit more traditional to me, but it's definitely not slappy, but it's definitely not an aggressive tip forward that you feel like in some shoes. Now midsole wise in our Speed 4, so a little bit more going on here. So we've got their performance foam, their Power Run PB foam. That's the one that they've used in the Endorphin Speed and in the Endorphin Pro. So this foam, very energetic, very bouncy. So within that foam, they have got a winged nylon plate. So that's just to give this foam some rigidity. But watch this. If you've seen any of my other Speed reviews, I'm actually quite surprised with the flexibility of this shoe with a plate inside it. So this shoe is more flexible than the Mach. So this has got a plate in it, and this one doesn't. And it's quite a difference. So I'm not too sure what part this nylon plate is actually even playing in the shoe, considering it's so flexible. And again, flex point in this shoe is in the middle of the shoe, which I'll go on to later. Flex point in this shoe is just under the toes, just under the joint of the toes, where you would expect it to be. Geometry wise, yes, they've got a 4-foot rocker. It's what they call their speed roll, and now their speed roll is about right here. This is where they start their rocker, so it's certainly a little bit further forward in this shoe, and it's a little bit more aggressive, so it's just under the joints there of the toes of where they meet the foot. But I really like where they put the rocker in this shoe. And in our ride, so what we're going to get in the Mach 6, well, so this is a nice and soft ride, well, especially it is through the rear. So you get some nice softness through the rear, and where these cutouts are in the midsole, it sort of just collapses and just really takes the impact out of the road. But I'm not going to say it's squishy cloud-like soft. It's probably the next level up. So you're not sinking into this one, it's feeling like you're digging out of sand. There's a good amount of energy return, there's a good amount of pop, there's a good amount of bounce, but it's not overly energetic either. So it's not springing the foot back really nice and fast. So really nice and soft through the rear, firms up through the middle of the shoe, and then it's quite responsive up around the forefoot here. So you can actually get some good pop and some good spring through the front of the shoe. Does this shoe feel super fast, like race-worthy fast? No, it doesn't. Does it have any wow factor? No. However, it feels amazing at jogging though, and it feels really good up to about that tempo pace as well. And the ride of the Speed, so it's energetic, it's springy, there's a lot of bounce, it's very lively, so a bit more lively than this shoe. And what's really great is when you start running really fast in this shoe, so the more speed you put in it, the better it feels. So you get on this speed roll, and it really just goes well with this foam, this Power Run PB. Very, very nice feeling. Now, what this shoe lacks for me is how it feels at a slow pace. So there's still a little bit of softness in this shoe in the slow paces, but it just feels clunky to me, and that's because of where the flex point in this shoe. So for me, when you're going running slow and you're starting to hit sort of around the rear of this shoe, the shoe feels like to me it's collapsing in the middle and it's taking the momentum out of the ride. But when you start hitting here and you don't utilize that flex point, you can actually feel the shoe assisting you running forward. So it feels much better at speed than what it does at jogging, because it's just, for me, yeah, it's just collapsing in the middle of the shoe. and it's sort of working against itself to me. But when you're up this way and you're springing forward, that's where you want to be. So yeah, this shoe feels amazing at pace, not so good at jogging, where this shoe feels amazing at jogging and not too bad at tempo, but it just doesn't feel as fast as this shoe. Right, so just wrapping it up here. Now remember, these shoes do have a lot of similarities, however, they feel quite different for me. So the Mach certainly got the more daily trainer vibes. It's nice and smooth, it feels better at them slow paces, and it just feels like a really nice smooth ride all the way up until those faster paces. Can it go fast? Yes, it definitely can go fast. However, it doesn't feel as fast as the Speed. So this one's got the performance features in it. It's the Super Trainer. It's got the Super Foam. It's got the plate. It's got the more aggressive rocker. So this one's got the wow factor, the bounce, the speed. It just doesn't feel so good at jogging, which is what I would probably expect anyway. Durability wise though, I didn't mention that before. I think the Speed has got it hands down in durability. I can't see this foam in the Mach 6 sticking around for too long. I think it's going to flatten out quite quickly, but this Power Run PB absolutely goes forever. It's really, really hard to kill. But anyway, guys, that is it from me. Interested to hear your thoughts on my comparison between these shoes. Which way are you going to go? Are you going to pick the Mach 6 or the Speed? I know if it was up to me, if I had to choose one, I think I'm just going to go the Mach 6, and that's because I can use it for more things. And if I want a performance shoe, I think I'm just going to grab a super shoe, or an old super shoe, or a not so super shoe instead of a workout shoe. So, but anyway, what would you guys do? Which shoe are you guys picking? Also, if you got any experience in any of these two shoes, please share those in the comments below. But anyway, guys, that's it. Again, thank you for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.